live on Instagram. Make sure everyone can see us. Are we live? We are live on Facebook, Instagram, and let's check YouTube one more time. YouTube. Yeah. Okay. All right. So welcome. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. We've been trying to do this forever.
First of all, the Big Mac is in perfect health after the heart attack he had, which pushed back episode 8, and then episode 9 was pushed back because of an influenza outbreak.
Yes.
But we are all healthy. The computer's healthy. We're healthy. So we're going to do back-to-back, not exactly back-to-back. There'll be a lunch break. We're going to do episode 8 first, then take a lunch break, and then start live streaming again for episode 9. So let's get started with episode 8. Episode 8 is roofing and flashing, which sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
But it is completely PG rated.
Yes. Don't worry.
And I just realized I don't have all my notes pulled up.
It's fine.
Get my script together, Master. Okay. All right, and we're going to listen to introduction first, or introduction first, and then we'll jump right into the show. So, like I said, episode 8 first, then we'll be taking a break and coming back this afternoon for episode 9. So it's going to be an exciting day.
Yeah.
Exciting day of HomeGirls. All right.
Exciting day.
And you can go ahead and press play.
Coming up on the roof, the first thing that we notice is there's no step flashing along the edge here, and there's actually no drip edge flashing. This doesn't mean that the roof is bad or needs to be replaced. It's going to be one of the expenses that you know that you're going to run into purchasing this property. Also, coming around the corner up here, we notice there's actually a hole where the tree took out some of the shingles. Again, doesn't mean that you shouldn't buy the property because the roof has damage. Just another thing that you're going to expect. Another step when assessing the roof is actually trying to determine the age of the roof. How you're going to do that is determine the granules, how much granule life is left on the roof. Easy ways to spot that is if you see some shimmering of the shingles, that means you've lost a lot of granules. But this roof actually looks pretty good. Another way you can do it is by walking on it. You can see that I'm not sliding around, I'm not moving. As I brush my hand across it, no granules are falling across. And as I pull on the shingle is actually pretty stiff still too. So if I had to guess, this roof still has about 5 or 6 years left on it before major damage will occur. So right now, this roof just needs some repairs.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was the perpetually handsome Christopher Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing a video on, actually it was a video on
investment properties.
Thank you. I'm like, what is that video on? It's on investment properties. But I wanted to take that snippet out on the roof because it's a really good lead into what we'll be discussing today.
Yeah.
But first, hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Macy's.
And we're the HomeGirls. And today we're talking about roofing and flashing. Now, I know roofing and flashing sounds like such a boring topic, but where would we be without a roof? Like, we literally have a roof over our head right now. But what would we do without roofs?
We would die.
It'd be really wet, really cold.
Yeah.
Really, I know, I guess you're hot even with a roof.
Yeah, I guess so. But a lot of bad things would happen if we didn't have a roof.
Exactly. So before plumbing, before electricity, even before floors, early man knew he needed a roof over his head. I mean, like, that was the first thing everybody always built.
Yeah.
Was the roof. So one could argue that the roof is the most important part of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So today we're going to discover the history of roofing, the different types of flashing, and how roofing and flashing impact the modern home. Real quick, before we head into my first section on history, ECs, do you know how difficult it is to research flashing? Do you know what happens when you Google flashing?
It's probably very difficult. The history of flashing.
You can get very traumatic very fast when you start researching flashing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, let me just say that. So anyway, let's jump in history.
All right,
yeah. Okay, cool. So this is insane. One of the earliest roofing materials was mammoth skin. I know. It was found in Siberia, dating back to 40,000 before Common Era.
That is weird.
Yeah, so like the first roof ever found was from an animal that doesn't even exist anymore.
That's crazy.
I know, isn't that insane? So, however, the mammoth skin roof was probably like really fancy for the time.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. The more common roofs was stretched hide of other animals. sod, and other natural materials like maybe wood or stone, even depending on how you're, if you're just using a cave as a roof or whatever.
Yeah.
The biggest type of roof you see in early mankind is actually thatchery.
What?
Thatchery.
What is that?
Yes. Not the name of the character from Hocus Pocus. It's not Thatchery Banks. Okay. It's Thackeray Banks. But anyway, that was a bad joke. Thatchery is essentially tightly bundled reeds and fronds. And it started to replace animal skin, as animal skin could be scarce, and it didn't last forever if you didn't take care of it.
Yeah.
I mean, thatchery doesn't last forever, but it's easier to replace than your mammoth hide.
Yeah,
right?
That makes complete sense.
Yeah, if you don't install the flashing correctly on your mammoth hide, you're gonna have issues.
You're gonna have to look for a whole new mammoth.
Yeah, I mean, it goes downhill real quick. But anyway, so thatchery, like I said, is bundled reeds and fronds, and it's easy to replace. And the way it was insulated was they would basically put straw on top of it to keep it warm and waterproof. The interesting thing about thatchery is it's still happening today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if you go to like England or Scotland or certain Nordic countries, they still have thatch roofs.
Wow.
I know. So the mammoth skin did fall out of favor, but the thatch roof still exists.
Yeah, they're still using it. Wow,
yeah,
that's crazy.
I think that's crazy. That's really cool. Anyway, if you're in the Mediterranean or in Asia, you are probably not going to have mammoth skin because it's a little warmer.
Yeah.
What they were using is glazed tile roofs. And I like glazed tile roofs because we actually still use those today too.
Okay.
Yeah, so it goes to show you the history of roofing is like, pretty much continuous.
Yeah, it's been successful.
So the first glazed tile roof we find in China 5,000 years ago. Greece and Babylon joined the tile roofing club about the same time. So about 5,000 years ago as well. It's the Romans who bring the clay tile to England in 100 BC.
Oh, okay.
So the English don't get clay tile roofs, and they still don't really use those actually, but the Romans brought it with them because they were building their own buildings in England. They considered the buildings that the English, when they weren't English, that the Celts were living in way too primitive. They hated thatch roofs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Romans hated thatch roofs.
Something bougier.
Yeah, exactly. They bought their bougie clay tile roofs with them. So the interesting thing about the clay tile is they found it so easy to use that they actually began mass producing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
Interesting. So in 735 AD is when you see a big spread of thatched roofs. Actually, cut that out. I said it wrong.
Oh, okay.
Cut that part out. Sorry. Wood shingles are introduced about 980. And in the 12th century AD, King John issued a law in London that citizens were to replace their thatch roofs with clay tiles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody had to replace their roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They didn't really listen because we still have thatch roofs in England,
okay.
right? The problem was thatch and wood roofs were fire hazards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So in the 70s is when you see the development of the green roofing system, especially in Germany. And that's kind of still in trend today. We want roofs that are much more, green makes it sound eco-friendly, but it's more like keeping your house warmer or cooler, climate control.
Okay.
Yeah. So I found a really cool source that goes over each type of roofing material. So bear with me here.
Okay, no worries.
So this source is, it's a bunch of primary sources from Architect Magazine.
Oh, okay.
And they pulled the history of each type of roofing material. And they have the original, we'll put the link in the blog.
Yeah.
Because they actually show the original documents for each source. Yeah, it's pretty cool. They start with clay tiles, which we just discussed, just saying that clay tiles are the oldest form of roofing. And then they move to asphalt roof shingles. That's the one we know the best, right?
Okay. That's one the
most. Yeah, I would say 90% of roofs are asphalt shingles. So basically, in 1910, it was the H.M. Reynolds Company of Grand Rapids, Michigan, that claimed to have invented the asphalt roof shingle. Now, that's a little murky. We really don't know. Okay. They were just probably like Thomas Edison. They're like, first.
Yeah, that was me.
No, totally me. So the weird thing, the kind of ambiguous thing about this is people had been using asphalt shingles before then.
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
that's
they might have just done the first mass-produced asphalt roof shingle. Anyway, the credit goes to the H.M. Reynolds Company for mass-produced asphalt shingles. And basically, they start to replace the wood shingle because they're more fire resistant.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Now, what about the slate roof? Slate is popular in the northeastern U.S. and Canada because you really need to be near a slate quarry to have a slate roof.
Okay.
Cheaply. You can have one here in Houston, but it's expensive.
Oh, okay. So it's more common like up north?
Yeah, it's, well, yeah, just,
Okay.
it's heavy. You have to reinforce your attic.
Oh.
We'll talk about that later, though.
Okay.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Basically, it just says that it became very popular in the 1930s. So slate starts to get popular. It's popular prior to then in more ancient building structures, but as a modern residential, it becomes popular in the 1930s.
Okay. Makes sense.
Okay. Built up roofing. What's that? And we'll talk more detail about built up roofing, but this is a basic definition. It's alternating layers of asphalt impregnated fabric.
What?
And bituminous coating. I apologize for that pronunciation. Essentially, the credit to built up roofing goes to the Barrett Manufacturing Company of New York, who developed it in 1896.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
I know. And you see built up roofing mostly in industrial buildings.
Okay, so not really like residential.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about the Barrett Manufacturing Company is they were located in New York City, where the skyscrapers need it. You can't put wood shingles or slate shingles or asphalt shingles on top of a skyscraper.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So the Barrett Company in the late 19th century is developing this better type of roofing for skyscrapers.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yes. Now, what about the steel roofs? The steel roofs you find in the late 19th century, these are mostly used for industrial, although you do see them in southern homes, that corrugated galvanized roof, not to be confused with galvanized piping.
Yeah, it's different.
People find the sound of rain on a corrugated tin roof or galvanized roof very charming. Interestingly enough, because steel roofs were often recycled, that's why you would find them in poor people's homes. So poor parts of the South tended to have the steel or galvanized roof. Now, what about the red cedar shingle, which I've never heard about?
Yeah,
we definitely don't have those here in Houston. They were more popular in the 19th century and the earliest 20th century. They fell out of favor. So that's probably why we don't see red cedar shingles anymore.
Yeah.
But they are apparently coming back in fashion. Although, like I said, I've never seen one.
Yeah, never seen it, never heard of it.
Fiber cement roofs is a combination of asbestos and cement. That sounds healthy.
That sounds scary.
I know. You see that in the early 20th century. Essentially, that was made as a industrial roofing as well. Yeah.
Good.
And finally, the stamped sheet roof made to stimulate clay tiles. You see that in the early 20th century as well. I want to talk about this because we do see these in Houston.
Oh, okay.
If you have a fancy dancy house and you want a roof that looks like any other material, you can actually have a custom steel roof, stamped sheet metal roof made, and it looks like other roofing material.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that, like I said, in my section when we go into like the different materials used for roofing. Yeah. But yeah, that came about in the earliest 20th century. And the W.F. Norman Manufacturing Company takes credit for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know. I thought that was really interesting. Now, let's move to flashing real quick. Flashing. Like I said, I really had trouble researching flashing because terrible things kept coming up when I would Google it. Yeah. But the only thing I really found on flashing is it was started in the Victorian era as they had more and more, how do you want to say, dramatic type roofs.
Oh, okay.
So you know like what I'm talking about, those Victorian houses that
like
kind
fancy,
of, yeah, they have like gabled roofs and flat roofs. Yeah. And people, like there's a bunch of different roofs in one house.
Yeah, okay,
you know?
I feel you.
The actual historical term for that is Queen Anne style home.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know. You also have like arts and crafts cottage, which comes a little after the Victorian era. But they had different, essentially they had different shaped roofs. And the Victorians realized when you have a home with different shaped roofs on it, water is going to start collecting in the peaks and valleys of the home.
Okay.
And if you think about the Romans or the Greeks, their homes were typically a little more open for water collection in general, because that's how they got fresh water. Well, the Victorians are really covering up every part of the house.
Yeah.
And because they're covering every part of the house and the roofs are different angles and different, like some of them are steep, some of them are flat, they realize very quickly that water is accumulating. And that's when they come up with the idea of flashing, which is just, we'll talk more about it later.
Yeah.
We're just about to talk. You're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Isis is going to talk about it. But essentially, flashing helps the water run off the roof. And Isis is going to tell us how right now.
Awesome. So, as Mary was saying, roof flashing is basically like a thin piece of metal or a roll of thin metal that's resistant to moisture and other weather conditions, like high levels of wind and rain, of course. And flashing can be made from a variety of materials, such as copper, aluminum, lead, or galvanized steel roofing. And it's rolled out into place and then sealed to prevent issues like water damage and mold. So how does it work? It works by collecting pooling water and directing away from like the location where the water is pooling. And that's how pretty much every piece of flashing works, no matter the location around your home. It just does the job in different ways depending on the situation. So the first specific type of flashing I'll talk about is the valley flashing. And in a valley, a piece of metal flashing is installed underneath the shingles of the roof at the edges, and the flashing material runs down to a nearby gutter. So as the water is dripping down the shingles into the valley, it blows freely down the sheet of metal to the gutter or further down the roof. And then the weak point of the two sections where they meet, it's strengthened and kept from leaking through like the metal. And so then the next one is chimney flashing. Chimney flashing, and chimneys are known for letting water get into your home. And apparently, before metal flashing was invented, builders went through a lot of trouble to like try and avoid your chimney from leaking.
Yeah, and also you can get like rot and stuff.
Yeah.
And once you get rot, that's when, well, especially in Houston, you get termites, raccoons, birds, bats.
A lot of scary
Yeah.
scary stuff. So thankfully now we have flashing to prevent this issue. At least
as long as it's working.
Yeah, as long as it's working. Josh sent a picture the other day in the group chat of a chimney, and it was like so like off.
We'll post that.
Yeah, we'll post that in the blog because it was really like, whoa, something is wrong with that chimney. So thankfully now we have flashing to prevent this issue, hopefully. So small L-shaped pieces of metal are installed in between shingle courses all along the chimney. And at the top, what's known as a cricket is built to create a slope that creates water from pooling up behind the chimney. And a big section of flashing covers that cricket, runs along the shingle run above it, and it's mortared right into the chimney itself to create a watertight barrier. Along the sides, counter flashing is mortared into the brick or stone, of course, and then it run down over top of the step flashing. And finally, flashing is mortared into the front of the chimney at the lowest points of the roof slope and sits flush on top of the next course of shingles where water will run down.
So we should have warned you guys, drinking game alert.
Yeah,
every time EC says flashing, take a shot.
I'll probably say flashing like a million times. Take a shot every time I say flashing. I'm going to do it this week.
In that chimney session, I think you'd actually be dead. Like you'd have alcohol poisoning after the chimney flashing. I mean, section. See, I just said it. I counted.
That counted, yes, I counted. Okay, cool. So the next type is vent pipe flashing. Take a shot at. This type of flashing helps keep water from seeping into the openings around vents or pipes that protrude from the roof. These could be plumbing vents or pipe from a wood or pellet stove. This metal flashing has a central spout opening either made of metal for a vent top or with a rubber compression. So I guess it's either made out of metal or rubber. And that wraps around the PVC or...
Oh, around the vent pipe?
Yeah, around the vent pipe.
I need to Google that. I need to Google the rubber.
Okay.
I'm going to do that. You keep talking.
Okay, cool. So anyways, Mary will Google that as we keep talking about this. So it's either made out of metal or maybe rubber, and it's wrapped around the PVC or the other pipe to create, or the type of pipe to create a watertight seal. And at the bottom of this unit is a wide square piece of metal, and the center slips over the pipe or vent, where it is installed underneath the roofing and along the top and the back edge, and the front edge is left exposed. This forces water to run out and away from the opening around the vent or the pipe. So yeah.
All right, sorry. Okay, so Google is not, apparently rubber flashing can be used. It can be made from recycled rubber. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think
let me look.
probably not as effective though as metal.
It's rubber is more affordable. It's easier to complete the construction. It's light and highly flexible. You can easily bend, mold, stretch, blah, blah, blah. It has high resistance to heat and cold, which makes it ideal for flashing. Because of its elastic nature, it isn't affected by the frequent expansion and contraction of structures that it supports. Oh,
Okay.
well, that's good. It's also incredibly flammable.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, and when it's stretched across cavities, it tends to sag and eventually tear. It's not as resilient or durable as metal flashing, which means you have to frequently replace it due to wear and tear. So I think when we're thinking of rubber, it's not going to look like the metal flashing.
Yeah.
It's going to look more like a sealant is how I'm kind of
That's what I was
imagining
thinking too.
Yeah. So you can have rubber flashing, but just, you're going to have to replace it a lot more.
Yeah, it'll probably cause more problems
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, more headache than it's worth.
Yeah, and
And
also
incredibly flammable.
yeah, also incredibly flammable. Keep that in mind.
So when your aluminum wiring goes in the attic, it's heading for the flashing first.
Put two and two together.
Yeah.
And we'll also put pictures of all these like types of flashing because they are interesting looking. So the next type of flashing I'm talking about is window flashing, and that is basically a thin, continuous piece of material that is installed to prevent water from getting into a home from an angle or joint near windows. And it is key to prevent any water intrusion, especially in your windows that goes into your house.
Yeah, kick-out flashing is a biggie. And we did the stucco episode. We talked about kick-out
Yeah,
flashing.
we talked a little bit about kick-out flashing.
It's really important if you have stucco or MSV, which is basically fake brick or fake stone in your house. Or really anything.
Yeah, really. So window flashing is arranged in a manner that directs water down and away from the structure. It's typically used on roofs, of course, around windows and doors, and around any opening for pipes or electrical lines. Window flashing can be exposed or concealed, and exposed flashing, as seen on roofs, can be copper, lead-coated copper, aluminum, galvanized steel, galvanized sheet metal, stainless steel, mineral surface roll, roof flashing, or ice and water barrier membrane. There's a lot of different types.
Yeah, there is.
It's crazy. And then finally, I'm gonna talk about kick-out flashing. So kick-out flashing is also known as diverter flashing, apparently.
Yes.
Is a special type of flashing that diverts rainwater away from the cladding and into the gutter. When they're installed properly, they provide great protection against the penetration of water into the building envelope. And kick-out flashing is a simple little piece of metal that directs water out and away from a building when a roof surface ends at a wall. So missing kick-out flashing can result in potentially severe damage to your walls.
Yes, and I want to make a quick correction. I said kick-out flashing in the last section. I meant to say window flashing, but now I'm going to say kick-out flashing again.
Okay.
Has to do with stucco, MSV,
Yeah.
and anything. But window flashing too. Both of them.
Yeah.
Now we're all confused.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you get too far ahead of yourself.
Yeah. Kick-out flashing is great for stucco and all that stuff.
Yes, but so is window flashing. So
Yeah,
now that you're all really confused.
Both of them hand in hand. They're both good.
Yeah,
they're
both good.
I also found information about decking, but that wasn't for our roof, so I don't know if I should talk about that.
What the heck? Let's talk about decking.
Okay,
let's go crazy.
Yeah,
this is the last round of the drinking game.
This is the end of the drinking game, guys, so get ready for this. So the last type of flashing I'll talk about is decking, which obviously is not for your roof. So if you've ever seen a deck or seen one installed, you might have noticed that there's a metal band against the side of the house. This is flashing, and it's made to prevent water from getting in behind the wooden barrier that secures the deck in place. And this sheet metal is fastened to the house wall up about 6 inches above the deck, and it extends down across the deck band and then down the vertical side of the band too. A lot of times, caulking is also applied underneath the flashing to create a seal and cut sections around the floor joists of the deck. Siding is also installed down along that flashing, and this creates a watertight seal to help protect your home from any water damage. And that's it.
That's it. That's not it. That's super exciting.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even know that they did flashing for your deck. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense though, because if your deck is holding moisture, it's just going to rot off the side of your house. But the interesting thing about flashing is that a lot of people just don't even know it exists.
Yeah, for sure. I never knew it existed.
Yeah, like I was just about to say, before I got into the home inspection business, I had no idea.
Yeah, if you would have asked me, I would have been like, flashing?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Weird old man in a trench coat on my roof?
Yeah.
No. So yeah, a lot of people don't realize it. And the other interesting thing about flashing is when we do a home inspection. You can cut that out.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing about flashing is when we deliver a home inspection report, 99% of the time we're going to be talking about flashing in the roof section.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's because, as we just mentioned, a lot of people don't know it exists. Yeah. So when we have high windstorm or bad hail or any type of insane weather phenomenon that happens here in Houston, because we get it all, except for actually we do get snow sometimes.
Yeah, we get it all.
Yeah, we get it all. People don't realize that the flashing on their roof is either breaking, getting blown away, or getting washed away. So yeah, when you get that cut that out too. When you get that home inspection report back, I can't say the word home inspection report today. When you get the home inspection report back, a lot of times that roof section is just full of flashing, 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 and people get so mad. They're like,
"What is this?
Yeah, why are you doing this?
You're making this up."
Yeah, you are. You're making this up. You're bullying me. So, which is a good segue into the modern home.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're gonna go back to flashing. I promise.
Yes, we will. We'll get back. Get your shots ready.
We're not done with flashing yet. Wow, this is gonna get a lot of hits on Google.
Yeah.
The SEO for this is gonna be crazy.
Flashing.
I'm gonna transition real quick and talk about the different types of roofs.
Okay, cool.
So I kind of hit this in the history section, but now I want to go a little farther into each type of roof is. Not drunk, I promise.
We're okay.
Slurring my words today. What each type of roof is, and the most common roofs you find. So I'm going to talk about tile roofs, slate roofs, asphalt shingle roofs, metal roofs, and flat roofs. Now, we'll start with the tile roof. Okay. The tile, if you recall, goes back to the Chinese, Greeks, and Romans, all using tile roofs about 5000 BC. We still use them today.
Are those like the orange colored ones?
Yeah.
They're kind of like.
Yeah, they look like a Mediterranean.
Okay, I think my dad has tile roofs.
Really?
Yeah.
He fancy.
Yeah, he is fancy.
Oh man, he's fancy.
Yeah.
The neighborhood across the street from my house has half asphalt shingle. I swear I'm not having a stroke today. Oh my God. Half asphalt shingle, half tile.
That's interesting.
Yeah, if I could say it. Okay, so let's get into that. Okay. The tile roof is interesting because it's man-made. So it's clay, ceramic, or glass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Glass. Wow.
Yeah, I know. So can you imagine in Roman and Greek times, you actually would have had an artisan making the roof tiles.
Wow.
Which is really neat.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now, there's still a little bit of a human component. They can be more mass produced, but it's still considered man-made material. So it's not coming from anything. They're not mining it or anything like that.
Okay.
The pros of the tile roof are there's actually quite a few color choices if you like brown and beige.
Nice.
Different colors of brown and beige. And red.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like
reddish, yeah. Brownish. They can be energy efficient. They're durable. They can withstand cold, high heat, and wind. Put an asterisk next to that, though. I'll be coming back. And limited maintenance. The con of that, they're very heavy. So your roof, the home framing of the roof, gotta get that one out. The framing home, the attic framing of the roof.
Yeah.
That still was said backwards, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I feel you.
Has to be reinforced to install the tile roof.
Okay.
They can be very expensive.
Makes sense.
And also, remember how I said they're durable, can withstand cold, heat, and high wind? They can also be damaged easily. So how can they be
I
durable
figured,
but damaged?
Yeah. I feel like if you just dropped one, like it would just shatter. Like
Yeah, so if you step on the roof, you could break it. Your weight could break it.
wow.
If you have a windstorm, which is an insurance word for hurricane, and something hits your roof,
Yeah.
it could break the roof. But if there's nothing flying through the air and it's just high wind, the roof should be fine.
Okay. But the odds of that, yeah.
Yes. Here's a piece of history for you. In the Galveston hurricane of 1900, which killed 8,000 people, by the way.
Oh my God! What?
Yeah.
What?
The tile roofs became projectiles, and people were killed after they were hit by like pieces of tile roof.
That is insane.
That is insane. Yeah, I know. So that's a happy thought.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to slate. Slate is not man-made. Slate is actually, let's put our geography hat on for a second, a sedimentary rock. You know what that means?
I took geography
I can't remember
my last semester of college.
Is that the one that's like compressed together by heat?
Oh wait, I'm thinking about, is it geology? Geology, right? Geology.
Oh my God, that's embarrassing. Can you
geography?
Can you Google sedimentary rock
Yes,
and see what it is? I think it's the one compressed by lava heat, but I could also be incredibly wrong because I also said geography and not geology.
Yeah, so sedimentary rocks are types of rocks that are formed by accumulation or deposition of small particles and subsequent cementation of mineral or organic particles. That's a lot.
I got a C. I got a C in geology.
Yeah, I think I got a B or a C. I know I didn't go to that class that way.
Digression. The slate roof is made up of actual sedimentary rocks that come out of the ground. So remember I said they were more popular in the northeastern United States or Canada in the 19th century and the early 20th century because they could actually be mined right up. There was easy access to them.
Yeah.
We do see slate roofs here in the South. It's just expensive. You have to pay for it because they have to bring the rocks down.
Yeah.
The pros of the slate roof is it's durable, low maintenance, non-absorbent, resist staining, which is a biggie here when we get that like algae growth on everything.
Oh, okay.
Eco-friendly, and it has a 75-year life expectancy.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that's not too shabby.
That's like a life right there.
Yeah, I mean, like, basically, if you're like 30 years old and have a slate roof installed, you never got to worry about it. Yeah, you're set for life. Now the cons is it's very heavy. So once again, you're going to have to reinforce your attic to put in the slate roof.
Makes sense.
It's very, very expensive. And we will be talking about costs later, I believe. And it costs also be damaged easily.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. We knew it was too good to be true, didn't we?
Yeah.
Let's talk about our friend, the asphalt shingle roof.
Yeah.
I have an asphalt shingle roof.
Nice.
You live in an apartment, so you probably have a flat roof.
Maybe. Either that or it probably is asphalt. I don't know.
Yeah. Look tonight.
I'll look tonight.
We are actually under an asphalt shingle roof right now.
Yeah.
Our office has an asphalt shingle roof. All right, so asphalt is essentially, it's the same stuff you use on the road.
Like the street?
Like, yeah, asphalt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like asphalt.
Okay, cool.
It's like asphalt's kind of like asphalt, you know?
I get you.
But it's mixed with fiberglass or wood cellulose.
Oh, okay.
And that kind of gives it that durable, bendy feeling, okay?
Okay.
So the pros of the asphalt shingle roof is it's inexpensive, it's waterproof, it's fireproof,
Nice.
can withstand moderate hail. Look at you. And it's easy to DIY. Fix.
Don't do that.
Get a car gun.
Don't do that.
Go ham on your asphalt shingle roof. The cons is it has a short lifespan and it can be blown off very, very easily during a windstorm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the windstorm, my friends, is not your friend.
No. That will be bad.
But the good news is if the asphalt shingle roof gets blown off, it probably won't kill you if it hits you.
Yeah, it'll probably just like smack you a bit.
Yeah.
And you'll just be like, ah.
Maybe a deep cut.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna
It won't kill you though.
not gonna outright murder you like the slate and the
The tile.
Yeah. No, thank you. So most homes have asphalt shingle roofs, which is why we know them so well. I'd go, this is my estimate, I'd say 99% of roofs here in Houston.
For sure.
Yeah.
I feel like it's rare to see the other types, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually in the way, way wealthier parts of town, or if you have a custom build. Yeah.
Yeah. Like my dad lives in the South, and like he lives in a fancy neighborhood. Everybody has a tile roof. I'm like, what is this? Where am I?
that fancy. They fancy. All right. So the metal roof is it can be aluminum or coated steel metal. And the big pros of that is it comes in a wide range of colors and shapes, and it can be made to intimidate. The roof intimidates other roofs. It can be made to imitate any other type of roofing style.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that means if you want something that looks like a tile roof, if you want something that looks like a wood roof, you can have it made, but it'll be metal.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless. So the other great thing about it is fire retardant, energy efficient, low maintenance, and if it's properly installed, it will last the entire life of the house.
Nice. I like metal roofs.
Yeah.
I think they look really cool.
Yeah, metal roofs definitely takes the cake as far as pros, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like if I was rich, metal roof, that's what I would get.
But where there's pros, there are
cons.
Yes, there are cons,
guys.
Insanely expensive would be the con,
Of
biggest
course.
con. Noise, especially during rain or hail, you get that like
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, that noisy sound.
Yeah,
It dents easily if you have hail,
makes sense.
and it's difficult to replace. However, the metal roof is not going to fly off during a windstorm.
So that one definitely will not kill you.
Yes, unless your entire roof, because sometimes during the windstorm, the entire half of the house just gets picked up and carried away. That does happen.
Yeah, that does happen.
Yeah, but the individual shingles aren't going to fly off.
Yeah.
So as long as half your house doesn't get ripped off, you're fine.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
You're good. You're good. So now we move to the flat roof.
Nice.
There are many different types of flat roofing. Many different. What was the one we talked about? The built-up roofing was the one we talked about in the history.
The skyscraper one?
Yeah, that they developed for skyscrapers in New York City.
Yeah.
We're going to get into built-up roofing in this section, but I'm going to start with all the other flat roofs first.
Okay.
The first I'm going to talk about is a PVC membrane. It is the most durable single-ply membrane. It typically comes with a lifetime warranty. And yeah, what a membrane basically means is they're just like painting it almost onto the top of the structure.
So is that why it has a lifetime warranty?
Yeah, I guess so. We have pictures. We'll post pictures.
Yeah, there's a lot of pictures on the blog.
Yeah. The next flat roof is the EPDM. I'm not sure what that stands for, but it's rubber. It's very affordable, but it's not as durable as the PVC membrane.
Wow.
Yeah. The next one is the TPO. We love our acronyms on flat roofs.
So many acronyms.
TPO sounds like a rap group, but what it is a chemically bonded rubber, ethylene, and propylene roof. Very energy efficient. Side note, that explosion that we had a couple weeks ago in Houston was a propylene explosion.
Oh my God, that's what it was?
Yeah, that was
crazy.
a propylene explosion.
That's
now
crazy.
put that on your roof. Totally stable. I guess when it bonded with the rubber ethylene, when the propylene's bonded with rubber and ethylene, it's completely stable and safe. Will not blow up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Our next roof is the modified bitumen. I might be saying it wrong.
Okay.
Let me know out there in the comments.
If y'all know.
It's a multi-layer surface and heat absorbing roof. Then we have the silicone spray, which is exactly what it sounds like. It creates a seamless roof, but it's very expensive.
Oh, a seamless roof? What does that mean? Like
what?
What does that mean? Like seamless roof? Like,
oh, like there's no. It's smooth, like our desk.
Okay.
Like there's no
like.
Yeah, our desk. If you can't see our desk because you're listening to this on a podcast, but our desk is a glass tabletop.
Yeah. Okay.
It is seamless.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah. And finally, you have the built-up roof.
Nice.
Yes. It's layers of bitumen and gravel or other hard substance. It's good for foot traffic, but it's very heavy. So remember the original built-up roof, I think, was asbestos, wasn't it? Asbestos and cement?
Yeah.
This one, we've come farther. We know that asbestos will give you mesothelioma.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's bad.
Not good.
Not your friend. So the modern built-up roofs don't have asbestos in them. It's the bitumen chemical. and gravel or another hard substance mixed in.
Okay.
Now, you can have flat roofs for residential homes. Mostly they're used for commercial buildings. And when I say commercial, I mean like everything from Best Buy to like big warehouse type building to restaurants,
Okay.
to apartments.
Yeah.
And like car washes, anything that's commercial and has a flat roof.
Okay.
Now you can also see it sometime in residential. At some point in the 70s, they thought flat roofs were a great idea.
It does not seem like
It's
a great idea.
not a great idea. Interesting, in the French colonial architecture, you see a lot of flat roofs. So if you go to New Orleans, you see a lot of flat roofs.
Yeah.
They just leak. A residential flat roof just leaks.
They look cool, but
yeah, they
for
leak.
sure they're
Spoiler
gonna cause
alert.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah, they leak. So the pros of the flat roof is they're very aesthetically pleasing. It gives you a flat, uniform surface. It's not like those Victorian homes where they have the different peaks and valleys and everything. They can be really energy efficient because, you know, you don't have all that different roof structure and everything.
Yeah.
They're easy to install and maintain, more or less. Cons is they tend to leak. They tend to be very heavy, and their lifespan, depends on the material that you use, can be anywhere from 7 to 30 years.
That is not enough.
No, it's not enough. 30 years,
years,
okay, but no. So I have a question for those of you listening on the podcast. We always stream this on Instagram Live, Facebook, and YouTube.
Yeah.
We got a question from Instagram that says, do flat roofs have any pitch at all, or are they completely flat? That is an excellent question. And the answer is they have pitch.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh.
So a flat roof is actually higher in the center, and then it goes down gradually. So it's an optical illusion though, because our eye can't really see it.
Yeah,
right?
It looks flat.
It looks flat. So it's actually higher in the center, and that is so when it gets hit by rain,
It doesn't just
it doesn't pool, right? The rain will flow towards the edges where it'll hit flashing or gutters and then leave, or drains if you have a commercial building, a big commercial building, and then leave the roof.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that really cool?
Yeah.
And it's the same for residential roofs that are flat. They'll be a little bit taller in the middle and then have a gradual grade that'll lead the roof of the water to gutters or flashing. But here's the thing. You have to ensure that it's installed properly.
Okay.
You have to ensure that it's maintained properly. Because a lot of times, especially with residential flat roofs, that grade kind of starts to go down as years of wear and tear go on.
Yeah.
And you do start to get water pooling on top of the roof. It happens in commercial buildings too, but they don't care as much.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, whatever.
It's just work.
Yeah. The cool thing is when they apply roof chemicals, they use fire.
They use fire.
Yeah, they use these like rolly pins that are on fire to lay the chemicals down.
Oh my God.
I know.
That's pretty cool.
I know. We'll post pictures. So, how do I know, is it a good roof or a bad roof? Is it good witch or a bad witch? Good roof or a bad roof? So, if you are looking to buy a house, or you're a seller's agent or a buyer's agent, and you're looking at a roof, what should you really be looking at?
Yeah.
First, you should note is all of the roofing material in place. So no lifting, cracking, or missing shingles. Are there proper seals around chimneys, vents, pipes, or other penetration? I know you're like, how am I going to tell if there's proper seals? You can usually tell if it's drastically missing something, especially the chimney.
Yeah, just by looking at it.
Yeah,
sure.
From the ground, people.
If it's like something is going on, you will know. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have asphalt shingle. Asphalt single shingle. Asphalt. You say it.
Asphalt.
Asphalt shingles.
Yeah, there we go.
Look, so if you have a home with those shingles, look to see if there's any sandy substances coming off the roof. And you can kind of tell, like if you're on the ground, you'll see like almost like sand patterns on the roof.
Like
and that means, you heard in the intro video how Chris was saying like there's no granulars.
Yeah.
That means the granulars of the shingle are starting to dissolve.
Okay.
Yeah, that means it's old. Now, Also, if you're on the ground, look for the drains and downspouts. Make sure they're all attached correctly. Most of the time, not always, you can tell from the ground if a gutter is like clogged.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of gutter gardens.
Yes, full of squirrels or something. Make sure the roof is one uniform color. If there's a color change in the roof, that could mean that parts of the tiles or shingles have aged.
Okay.
And then make sure the flashing is installed correctly. But you're like, what the heck? How am I? Why should I even care? How am I supposed to know about flashing? EC's chatted with you about flashing.
Yeah.
Now, and you probably still have no idea what it looks like.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, because you're listening to us and you're not looking at pictures. So I promise if you go to the blog, there will be a picture of each type of flashing. And it's a great picture.
Yeah.
It shows you exactly what you should look for. And you'll realize once you've seen the picture, like, oh my God, I've been looking at flashing my whole life.
Yeah. For sure.
It'll definitely be a revelation for you. So, all right. Also, this is really cool for flashing. I want to add this in real quick. If you have a fancy metal roof, you can have different color flashing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so actually, you can do it in a slate and tile roof. So we'll post this picture, but there's this really awesome that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
It's a picture of a slate roof, and they have a bronze flashing.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
It's very fly.
Yeah, it looks like a little water slide.
Yeah, so. Now, what should a home inspector do on a roof? What is a home inspector doing? Now, as usual, I want to say like every state's different, right?
Yeah, of course.
But in general, this is what your home inspector should do when they get on your roof. Now, in Texas, if the weather is bad, home inspectors don't have to get on the roof. We can write in the report. I bet it's the same for all states because nobody wants anyone falling off and breaking a back or a leg or neck or anything. So in our Texas standard report form, we actually have a little box that say like the weather was bad or, could not inspect.
Yeah.
So, also in Texas, you don't have to inspect the roof of the home if it's over 2 stories or the roof is inaccessible. TREC just leaves it up to the inspector to gauge their own safety, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can use binoculars or drones if you can't physically get up on the roof. But let me say this. If you can get on the roof and you're a home inspector, get on the roof.
Yeah, it's just better.
Yeah. The binoculars are definitely not good enough. Yeah. And the drones cannot see well enough yet.
Yeah.
Yet. They haven't become self-aware enough.
Let's check back in like 10 years and see.
Yeah, exactly. So the actual best way to inspect a roof is to get your feet on the roof and look at it with your eyes. So, or the home inspector anyway. Not don't get on. Yeah. Just let a home inspector do it. Okay, so an inspector should write in the report the following: a type of roof covering, so is it asphalt or clay tile or slate, etc. How the roof was inspected, did he get physically on the roof or did he use a drone or binoculars? He should note evidence of water penetration. He should note evidence of prior repair. He should also examine the fasteners and the adhesions just to make sure that the shingles are fastened correctly and that the nails have not caused water penetration. Okay. He should inspect all the flashing, make sure the flashing's not damaged, or note if there's missing flashing. He should look at the skylights and other penetrations. Anything that comes out of your roof is called a penetration, which is hilarious. In a presentation about flashing, we use so many fantastic words here.
I know, right?
Yeah. But what penetration means in the home inspection world is vents and chimneys and your plumbing stack, all of that stuff. That's called a penetration. They have to inspect those on the roof as well. So let's talk about replacing the roof.
Yeah.
This is where it gets serious and not fun anymore. Expensive. So some asphalt shingle repair can be DIY, but big shingle repair should not be DIY.
Yeah, no.
You can actually go to Home Depot and buy lines of shingles and put them on your roof.
Don't do that.
Yeah. You can also get a tar gun and tar your roof to like cover up any holes.
That's crazy. I'm just I don't know.
I mean, not to point me fingers, but Chris Murphy totally did that once.
Of course he did.
Yeah. He did.
Sounds
We ended
like
up having to get a new roof in the end, but there was definitely a year time where we just had a tile and Home Depot shingle roof.
Oh no, that sounds like something you do.
But when we sold the house, to be fair, it had a brand new roof on it. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They made up for it.
Yeah, we made up for it. Okay, so don't get on a slate, tile, or metal roof if you're not a professional, because there are certain ways you're supposed to walk on those roofs, and you can crack and damage the roofs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or fall off because they're also really slippery. If you need major roof repairs, check with your homeowner's insurance first, because a lot of times they'll cover all or a portion of the roof repair, because they'll be able to find hail damage or proof of windstorm damage or something like that. So always check with your homeowner insurance before you pay out of pocket, right? Shop around for roof companies. It's expensive. It's not as expensive as foundations, but it's still pretty expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
And I have some average cost for you. This is per 100 square feet. So the amounts I'm giving you is per 100 square feet. The asphalt shingle, I'll say it right one day, is about $90 or more per 100 square foot. The tile roof is about $800 per 100 square foot.
Jeez.
Yeah, that escalated
That's
quickly.
a huge difference.
Yeah, 100 right then. The metal roof is $120 per 100 square foot. The slate roof, hang on to your hat, people, is $1,100 per 100 square foot. That's $1,100 per 100 square foot.
That's crazy.
That's nuts. Flat roofs are cheaper, but of course, remember they only last about 7 to 30 years.
Yeah.
They are about $4 to $11 per 100 square foot, which makes sense when you have a commercial building.
Yeah.
Those are big roofs.
Yeah, they
like
are
huge roofs. So $4 per 100 square foot actually adds up probably in a commercial.
Probably, because
building.
they probably get a lot of problems.
Yeah. So, do you have any questions for me?
Okay, so is there any way to tell if your flashing is installed incorrectly?
Yes. So that's actually a really good question. And I'll break it up into two parts. First, the question is, to answer your question, is it installed incorrectly? Basically, if the water isn't coming off the house correctly and you have pools of water or water leaking into the home, then you'll know that there's an issue with your flashing. But a lot of times it's not because it's installed incorrectly, it's because it's damaged or missing.
Okay. So
Yeah.
they forget to install it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the issue most of the time is not that they did it wrong, if that it's been blown away or old age has knocked it off, or it's damaged, especially around those penetrations, because the flashing around those tends to go a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And here's an interesting thing to note. If you get your roof replaced, make sure they replace the flashing. Because sometimes you'll get unethical roofers and you'll get a new roof, but no new flashing.
So is that supposed to be included?
Yes, it is. They're supposed to replace your flashing when they replace your roof. And if they don't do that, you have old, covered up, out of date flashing.
Wow,
You've just invalidated your brand new roof.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So.
Because I wasn't sure, is that a separate thing you have to pay for?
No, it should be included in the roof repair. Feel free to correct us.
Yeah.
Any roofers
If you're
out
a
there.
roofer,
Yeah.
Let us know. And if you had to choose a roof, which one would you choose?
Wait, what?
If you had to choose a roof, which one would you choose?
Oh, I actually like the asphalt roof.
Oh, you do?
It seems to be the lowest maintenance.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, I'm terrified of being murdered by my roof during a hurricane. Because apparently that's a thing out here.
Yeah, I'm never going back to my dad's house.
Do they have hurricanes in Laredo?
No. Maybe a hailstorm once in a while.
But yeah, I actually don't mind the asphalt roof. I think it's just economical, and they last. The thing with asphalt in Houston, now this is Houston, people, we're the exception to all the rules.
Yeah.
Is when you get a 20-year asphalt roof, it really only lasts about 15.
Okay.
If you get a 30-year asphalt roof, it only lasts about 25 years, maybe 20. And the reason for that is it gets so hot in Houston, and it rains every day. And sometimes the rain is nasty, hot, humid rain.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's freezing rain. Sometimes it's hail.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's windstorm. Our weather here is so unpredictable, it just destroys the asphalt shingles.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out how to dress
Yeah.
lately.
So, but I like it. It's easy to fix, it's easy to replace, and they don't look that bad.
Yeah, I don't think they look bad at all. I think it looks like a roof. Like
A rough,
a roof.
as we say up north. What type of roof would you have?
If I was rich, I'd say a metal roof.
Oh yeah.
If I was rich,
That's a good one. The metal roof's not going to fall off and kill you.
Yeah, and I like that there's colors.
Yeah, it is really neat that you can make it, like, you could have a roof where people are like, oh, is that a clay roof? No, it's a metal roof that looks like a clay roof.
Yeah.
If you really wanted, you could have a metal roof that looked like an asphalt shingle roof. Why? I don't know.
Why would you want that? I don't know,
But you could do it.
Cool.
That's a good point. Maybe I'll change my answer to metal roof. The problem with metal roof is it's expensive.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, I don't know how the noise sounds from metal.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm
like,
sure like it could possibly be annoying.
some people are really, I know if you have an older home that has a tin roof, some people really like the sound of the rain
Like
on the tin roof.
patterns.
Yeah, the pattering sound. I don't know how it would actually sound on a metal roof though.
Yeah.
And also if you get a hailstorm though, like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Roof is
you're
gonna look-
gonna get dense.
Yeah, if your car looks bad, just imagine how your roof is gonna look.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, cool. That was my last question.
Oh, that was the last
Yeah,
question? Awesome. So is it credit time?
Yes.
I think it's time for the credits. Awesome.
Yes, it's credit time.
Now, our next episode, I am so happy that we're gonna get to do. I thought it'd have to wait till season 2, but it's gonna make it into season 1.
Yeah.
Infrared scans.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one too.
Yeah. This is a big one. Everyone loves this technology. I love this technology.
It's really interesting.
It's really interesting. And the history of it is really cool. It goes back into the 18th century.
Jeez. Yeah.
I know.
And there is a lot of science. I was like reading about it. I was like, geez, there's a lot to do with light.
Yes, a lot to do with light. Very scientific.
Yeah.
So the intro was a YouTube video from our YouTube channel at A Action Home Inspection Group Houston. It's called Top 5 Things to Look For Before You Buy an Investment Property. That was hosted by Chris Murphy. Our music credit is Kevin McLeod of Incomtech.
Yes, Incom.
Our source credit is Architect Magazine and a blog called HomeGirls, which is hilarious.
Oh my God.
And you can check us out on YouTube at A Action Home Inspection Group Houston or Facebook and on Instagram at HomeInspector_Texas. And I thank you for joining us for roofing and flashing. Hopefully you didn't get too drunk on the flashing drinking game.
Sorry about that.
And we'll chat with you next time about infrared scans.
Yes.
I'm Mary.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
What did you say?
What were you going to say?
It's because we like talked at the same time, so I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, you say what you were going to say first.
I don't even know what I was gonna say.
All right. Well, I'm Mary.
Okay, I'm easy.
We're the HomeGirls, and we'll check us out next time for infrared scan.
Infrared. That's funny. That's a funny ending. I'm gonna leave that. We were both like, what?
All right. So those of you watching on the live stream, we're going to end the live stream right now. Take a break. I can't talk. A break. Take a break for lunch. And then we'll be back 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Yep, and
for more live stream infrared scans.
Get ready for the infrared.
Ready for the infrared scans. All right. Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll see you in about an hour.
Yeah, in like an hour.
An hour and a half. Yes. All right. Oops. I don't know how to end this. Right.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And now,
yeah.
share a story.
And then end.
And that. And then end this.
End.
End.